The RG406H is the millionth retro handheld released by Anbernic this year, the horizontal version of the RG406V. The 406V was a brilliant sequel to the 405V that improved in almost every way, but does the 406H carry on with the same momentum, or does the retro emulation stop in its tracks? On the 16th of December 2024, I started using the RG406H as my main console over the course of a week to answer these questions, and this is what happened. The week prior, I was playing the Retroid Pocket 5, a technically similar console to the RG406H, and arguably its nearest competitor. That week didn't go so great, for reasons out of our control, and this week was equally as challenging. But the RG406H, despite its imperfections, helped me through it. Starting from the beginning, when I first opened the RG406H, I was pleased to see that Anbernic have once again nailed it when it comes to aesthetics. The all-white design of the RG406H is absolutely stunning. When I first heard about the RG406H, I was really excited and hopeful to get a horizontal version of the RG406V. As much as I love the V, a horizontal handheld is always where my heart lies, and Anbernic did not disappoint. For as stunning as the H looks, it feels just as amazing in your hands. A solid and ergonomic handheld that doesn't feel like you have to be overly careful with it. Although I'd never do it intentionally, it does feel like it could take a drop or a few rough pocket rides with ease. Although there is one imperfection, and it's the same as the RG406V, the height of the analog sticks. Now, there's pros and cons to this. The height of the sticks makes them feel amazing to use, and they provide great range of motion and accuracy. However, they always catch on your pocket and protrude a little bit too much. Nevertheless, I was ready to lose myself in some Mission Impossible Operation Surma on the PS2. I'd started playing it the week before on my Retroid Pocket 5. Although I didn't make a lot of progress, I still wanted to carry on where I'd left off. As both the RG406H and the RP5 use Android and AetherSX2, I decided to copy over the save states and memory card files. However, I couldn't get it to work. The save states were incompatible as the versions of AetherSX2 were different, and for some reason the memory card save wasn't working properly on the RP5, so I couldn't use that either. This was pretty frustrating, but I did manage to find a workaround. I used a cheat code to unlock all the levels so I could just jump back into where I was. Not ideal, but it got me up and running. Playing Operation Surma on the RG406H felt great in terms of ergonomics. I think this kind of form factor is my favourite. The size is spot on, and the curved back make for a really comfortable hold. The analog triggers really feel great to use and are pocket friendly. The only thing I'd change is to have the analog sticks a little bit less tall, as we said earlier. That one change, and this would be my perfect handheld design. The RG406H even has the left analog stick above the D-pad, which feels perfect when playing PS2 Gen gaming. The screen is brilliant too. It's definitely not as nice to look at as the Retroid Pocket 5, and an OLED would be very welcome, but the 4x3 still does look fantastic. Which is all such a shame, because the PS2 capability was just a bit off. Running Operation Surma at ×2 resolution was a bit of a struggle, even when the system was set to high performance mode. The main problem is that the system runs really smoothly, and then just randomly starts to run real slow. Whenever this happens, if I make a quick change in the settings, like switching from resolution 1.5 to 1 and then back to 1.5, it works okay again. It's almost like it needs a little nudge to remember what to do. And it specifically happens almost every time I switch the console on out of sleep mode. Now this seems to be only the case with PS2 gaming, and it could very well just be an AetherSX2 version issue. There are so many different versions that come with these devices now, and I know the RP5 has a different version to the RG406H. So I might try changing the version to see if that makes a difference, but I just didn't get around to it this week. This week was another difficult one personally. As if last week's news wasn't sad enough, I had some worrying news about my mum. She's had dementia for the past 10 years and has been the strongest fighter I've ever known in my life. But this week her health has deteriorated another step, and things have gotten tough. Now my wife knows how at these times gaming helps me deal with things, and later in the evening she handed me my trim UI brick. But I ended up asking her for the RG406H. I don't want this episode to revolve around which is my comfort console at low times, but there was just something about the RG406H that just felt so easy and comfortable to pick up. And even beyond the last few difficult weeks, I've started noticing how much of an impact this really makes. How much a console really calls out to you to be picked up. How comfortable it is to have next to you all the time. And despite the slight lack in power, which I do find frustrating as it feels so close to awesome power, and the almost but not quite pocketable design, the RG406H is so close to perfection for me. The remainder of the week, the RG406H became my gaming buddy. giving me those brief moments of respite and letting my mind slip away to different worlds. It's kind of strange really, because the Retroid Pocket 5 is definitely easier to slide in your pocket, but I just felt more at ease with the RG406H. I definitely believe that this is down to the overall more durable feeling. As a matter of fact, I'd love to see someone do drop tests with these handhelds, as I think it would be good to clarify just how durable they are. But just to make it clear, that guy will not be me. Always carrying the RG406 with me around the house and taking it out was great for letting my mind escape into some of my favourite games. Mission Impossible Operation Surma took up most of my gaming time, as I'm focusing on completing that, but I also jumped into some James Bond Nightfire. Playing through some of my favourite snow-covered levels and being able to take my mind back to some of my favourite Christmases was a true joy, and the RG406H handled it with ease, letting me delve in deep without any stutters to kill the immersion. The RG406H is a fantastic console. I'd not say it's better than the Retroid Pocket 5, as it still has some improvements to make in the power department. However, it is the closest I've seen to a perfect physical design. What we want from our retro handhelds is very much a personal thing, and perfection will always be different from person to person. But for me, what I want is a solid feeling handheld that provides a great 4x3 gaming experience in an ergonomic yet pocketable design, with analog triggers and a left analog stick above the D-pad. The RG406H provides pretty much all of that apart from a few tweaks, such as the stick height and an increase in performance. Despite that, the RG406H was able to give me everything I truly needed this week, even though there were times its imperfections were clear. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the RG406H is not perfect, but it is very close, and has a heck of a lot of charm. If you do want to get your hands on an RG406H, links will be in the description below. But if you want to check out the Retroid Pocket 5, check out this video right here.